Betrayal without love, a crime in the villages of India. There was no love or emotion between Pooja and Rajiv that could justify their actions. Their relationship was based purely on mutual exploitation. From the very beginning, each one was trying to deceive the other. The two were connected by a crime that no one could have imagined in 2012 in a village in Uttar Pradesh. Early one morning at around 6 a.m., some farmers stumbled upon a burnt-out auto-rickshaw on a deserted road. As they moved closer, they discovered a charred corpse inside, barely recognizable except for a few minor facial features. They immediately notified the police, who arrived at the scene along with a forensics team. Upon examining the rickshaw and the body, authorities determined that the fire was intentional and that the victim had been struck on the head before being burned. And the officers uncovered the victim's face and showed it to the gathered villagers. They all identified him as Akash, a local man who owned a poultry farm. But who had killed Akash and why? This was no ordinary crime of passion, so let's go 10 years back in time, to 2002 to understand the full story. Akash's dream of success. Akash was a hard-working young man living in a small village in Uttar Pradesh, surrounded by his extended family. He had always dreamed of traveling abroad, working hard and earning enough money to fulfill his ambition of owning a poultry farm or a piece of land. In 2002, he got an excellent job opportunity in Dubai and wasted no time in leaving for the Gulf. Within a short period, he proved himself to be a skilled and trustworthy worker, gaining the confidence of his employers and colleagues. His dedication soon led to financial stability. After working for a year and a half, he returned home to his village for a well-earned vacation. His family welcomed him with open arms, thrilled to see how well he was doing. During his visit, his relatives began pressuring him to get married, fearing that he might become too focused on his career and forget to start a family. A perfect candidate was available, Pooja, his maternal cousin. She had been married before but divorced a year ago, and she had a daughter from her first marriage. To Akash, this seemed like a logical choice. She was family, and he believed she could provide a stable home for him. So he visited her father, expressed his intentions, and proposed a quick marriage. He had a furnished home and wanted to get married within 2 weeks so he could spend at least a month with his wife before returning to Dubai. And so after just 2 weeks, Akash and Pooja were married in mid-2003. A marriage without love. After the honeymoon period, Akash left for Dubai again. Before leaving, he assured Pooja that he would return in 18 months and that his dream of owning a poultry farm was still alive. Pooja, on the surface, appeared supportive. She wished him success and promised to stand by his side. But as soon as he left, she began questioning her decision. She asked herself, why did I even get married? Her daily routine remained unchanged. She either stayed at home or visited her mother's house. 3 years passed this way, with Akash regularly sending money from Dubai. But whenever he came home, he would find that there was no trace of the money he had sent. This led to serious arguments between them. Her families had to intervene several times to resolve the issues, after which Pooja reluctantly returned to their home. By 2007, their marriage had become cold and distant. They had 2 children, but Pooja had grown too accustomed to living alone. Having Akash around for just 2 months every year began to bother her. The fights continued, mostly about money. To make matters worse, Akash's younger brother sometimes called him in Dubai to tell him that strange men were visiting his house in his absence. When Akash confronted Pooja, she insisted that only her brothers ever visited. However, Akash's brother remained suspicious, since he knew her family and never saw her brothers around. The affair and the murder plot. In 2010, Akash decided to return to India permanently, having saved enough money to finally start his poultry farm. He invested his entire savings into the business and told Pooja that he was now here to stay. But instead of being happy, she became furious. She felt that all these years had been wasted, that she had gained nothing from this marriage. She had no idea that what she was about to do next would change everything forever. Within 4 months, Akash's farm suffered huge losses. He lost everything and informed Pooja about it. A massive argument erupted, and she left home, moving in with her parents. One evening, while Akash was sorting through some documents, he came across financial statements that belonged to Pooja. To his shock, he discovered that she had a huge sum of money stored in a post office savings account. Finally, he knew where all the money he had been sending had gone. Enraged, he stormed into her parents' house and confronted her. A violent fight broke out, and as her mother tried to intervene, Akash pushed her away in anger, causing her to fall and break her arm. That moment, Pooja decided to take revenge. Rather than getting a divorce, she chose to kill him. She started looking for someone to help her, and her neighbor Rajiv was the perfect candidate. Rajiv was a married man with 2 wives and 7 children, drowning in debt. Pooja knew he was desperate for money and began seducing him. She soon lured him into an affair, using it as leverage to make him agree to kill Akash. Rajiv agreed for 5,000 rupees, but Pooja made it clear he would only be paid after the murder. A brutal murder. On the night of the crime, Pooja spiked Akash's juice with sleeping pills, then called Rajiv over. Rajiv entered the bedroom and found Akash completely unconscious. Hesitant at first, he ultimately took a heavy axe and struck Akash's head, killing him instantly. Together, they stuffed his body into a sack, placed it inside his auto-rickshaw, and drove to a secluded area. There, they doused the vehicle in petrol and set it on fire, before quietly disappearing into the night. By morning, the villagers had found the burnt vehicle and charred corpse, leading the police to launch a full investigation. With forensic evidence and local witness statements, authorities quickly linked the crime to Pooja and Rajiv. Both were arrested, and after a lengthy trial, they were sentenced to death. The ultimate betrayal. This was one of the most shocking cases of betrayal ever recorded. Pooja and Rajiv shared no love or emotions, just mutual greed and selfishness. She sold her body for revenge, and he sold his soul for money. In the end, they both paid the price with their lives.